stood before the council, looking mighty clean. Said one man drops the people live the smoothest ever seen. You made it sound like mercy, made it sound like math. One life against the nation, just a simple little path. But you weren't counting people, no, you weren't counting lives. You were counting up your fancy robes and the power that survives. Just counting your own seat, your chair inside the shrine, making sure that everything you do is looking mighty fine. Oh, you wrapped a cold-blood murder in a pretty little prayer. Called it a sacrifice, but it's a transaction, baby, fair and square. You said the people,
you meant your power.
You said the nation,
you meant your position.
You said necessary,
very.
Yep, meant convenient. Yeah, the math was a little shady, but the alibi was brilliant. You blamed it on the Romans, said they made you do it, but that was just an alibi, and baby, we all knew it. You were scared of a fellow talking down upon the street, got the crowds all clapping to the rhythm of his feet. You couldn't control him, and that was the real threat. Not the Roman legions, no, you haven't forgotten yet. It was him and his words and the following he drew. So you dressed up your fear in a patriotic hue, called the killing a rescue, put a flag upon the hearse. Now you're singing a very different, very cynical verse. So you wrapped a cold-blood murder in a pretty little prayer. Call it a sacrifice, but it's a transaction, baby, fair and square. You said the people,
you meant your power.
You said the nation,
you meant your position.
You said necessary,
you meant
yeah, you meant convenient. Yeah, the math was a little shady, but the alibi was brilliant. Now the worst part isn't even that the innocent man bled. It's the fancy vocabulary dancing round inside your head. You needed all those noble words to make the poison sweet, 'cause you couldn't just say, I'm scared of losing my front row seat. You had to make it holy, had to make it sound so grand, weeping for the many while you sharpen the knife in your hand. So don't you call it wisdom, don't you call it a hard choice. You priced out a good man just to keep your shiny voice. You looked at an innocent, decided on the spot his blood was cheaper than the fancy title that you got. Then you stood up at the podium, told the crowd it's all for love, sent a little message to the angels up above. But that ain't leadership, baby, let me tell you what it is. It's a lie wearing duty's face, just blowing you a kiss. You paid with his life, and you kept the change.